Welcome to Better Police Reports. I'm Jean Reynolds. Today's topic is getting promoted. We're going to be talking about 4 ideas today. Number 1, many people in many fields, including criminal justice, wish that they had a more extensive background in writing. Number 2, very likely many of you are going to be getting a promotion sometime in the future. Number 3, your brain has billions and billions of structures devoted solely to language processing. Number 4, almost every day of your life is full of language experiences. All right, let's start with idea number 2. Many of you are going to be getting a promotion sometime. Very likely that promotion is going to involve a lot of writing. Perhaps it's going to be writing tasks that will be new to you. Perhaps much of the writing is going to be directed towards people not in law enforcement. For example, it might be community leaders and government officials. Will you be ready? And if not, what are you going to do about it? With the challenges of a new position, you're probably not going to feel very inclined to sign up for a couple of English courses. It just seems to make common sense to sharpen your writing skills now and be ready when the big opportunity comes. But that sets up another set of problems. Right now you have a demanding job. And in your off-duty hours, you have many priorities and many responsibilities. For example, you probably have important relationships that you want to nurture. You're tired. You just don't really feel like doing a lot of study in your off-duty hours. My message to you today is that you already have the resources and the time to improve your writing skills. All right, one of your most important resources has already been mentioned. It's your brain. It's the billions and billions of cells that are dedicated to processing language. Think back to when you were very tiny and you were just learning how to talk. Nobody sat you down with a pencil and a piece of paper and taught you how to diagram sentences. What you did as a child was to watch these big people around you who were using their mouths to make these funny sounds that seemed to mean something. Your curiosity was aroused. And because your brain is already wired for language, you were able to figure it out, even though you were so small. I mean, it's an amazing achievement when you think of it. All the complexity of language, you were able to figure out at a very, very young age. Those brain powers are still in place. Your second resource is all the language experiences that swirl around you every day. Speaking, listening, reading, and writing. So what I am asking you to do is to pay attention to language. Trust your brain to look for patterns, to figure things out, and to improve your skills. For example, listen to yourself. Do you have any language habits that you'd like to change? Pick one out and work on it. Do you ever notice that you're pronouncing a word differently from the way that other people pronounce it? Take a minute to look up the word and find out whether you're right or they are. Fix it. Do you have role models in your life that you can use as teachers? Is there somebody you can imitate? Is there somebody who's available to answer a question once in a while? When you're writing, is there someone you can show a sentence to and say, you know, I'm kind of stuck on this. Can you help me figure out where the comma goes or how to word it better? These experiences take up a tiny amount of time, and yet they build up. Reading. You often read in the nature of your work. Reading is the royal road to better writing. Once in a while, stop at a sentence and ask yourself how it's put together. Why is that letter capitalized? Why is there an apostrophe there? Why is that comma there? Again, start looking for patterns, start figuring it out. And I have a story about this that I think illustrates this point very well. I used to be a freelance editor and I got paid by the hour. A woman got in touch with me about a novel she had written, asking me if I would fix the sentence structure, the punctuation, and so on. So I agreed. Well, I got to page 2 and I realized that she had no idea how to do quotation marks. Now, mind you, this is a pretty lengthy novel that I'm editing. there's a lot of conversation in it, which means there are thousands of sentences with quotation marks. So I called her and said, you know, this is going to take me a long time. It's going to cost you money. How about I show you how to do quotation marks and you can fix them yourself? Oh, no, she said. I can't learn how to do that. Right. I'm going to show you how to do quotation marks. But my big question is this. Couldn't she have figured this out herself just by opening up a book and looking for a pattern? Okay, here's what you do. First quotation. My dog started barking and ran to the door. You put quotation marks around what she said. The period always goes before the quotation marks. In the United States, periods and commas have to go before. They can't go under or after. Canada and the United Kingdom do it differently. In the United States, there are no exceptions to this. All right, let's look at the next one. I bet you've already figured this out. Her exact words were, he grabbed me. Where does the comma go? It goes before. Now, that is not difficult. And what I'm saying to you is that you can use your brain and the language experiences available to you to figure this out. Plus, there are other resources. There are websites free on the internet that explain commas, apostrophes, punctuation marks, capital letters, and so on. You can call a librarian. You can buy a book. You can borrow a book from the library. There might be somebody you know who already is an expert you could ask. What you don't want to do is let things slide or say, someday I'm going to learn it all in one big chunk in a week. A little bit every day really adds up. And I have another story about this. When I was in graduate school, I got interested in a difficult literary theory. And I bought a book about it and decided I was going to really figure this out. I got through the first chapter of the book and realized I did not understand a single thing in that chapter. I'm not making this up. So I had a choice. I could either give up, or I could wait until later, or I could say to myself, somehow I'm going to learn this theory. And what I did was make a commitment that I was going to read that chapter every day until I understood it. Well, it took me a month. So every day I sat down and read that chapter. Now, language is much simpler than that chapter ever was. You are not going to have nearly the trouble with English that I did with that book. You know how many pronoun rules there are? 4. Do you know how many comma rules you need to write every sentence in your life with very few exceptions? 3. If you spend even a minute a day on a rule, how long would it take you to learn everything that you need to know for that job that might be waiting for you in the future that's going to have some writing challenges? All right, I'm going to suggest some resources of my own for you. If you're interested in this idea of breaking something overwhelming into a few minutes a day, I have a book called 5 Minutes a Day. It's available on Amazon.com. It's inexpensive, it's practical, and I think you'll have fun reading it. My book, Criminal Justice Report Writing, has a whole section in the middle with everything you need to know about grammar and usage for your reports. Again, for sale on Amazon.com. And don't forget my website. It's free, www.yourpoliceright.com. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching.